Good afternoon, students. Uh, Today we shall continue the class. Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yesterday we were discussing about stress, strain, modulus of elasticity, uh, and also elastic limit. Uh, and also we have learnt about Hooke's law, which states that stress is directly proportional to strain. And also we have started this tension test curve. I will just brief this stress strain curve. Okay. Yesterday also we have discussed, but we shall start from here today. Okay. In tensile test, andre, whenever a member is pulled, it is going to get stretched. So it is under tension. Whenever a member is going on a stretching phase, stretch ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ long ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, then that member is in tension. Whenever a member is getting compressed or the dimension of the member is getting less, so that member will be in compression. So here we have taken an example for uh, ferrous material. Ferrous material means a steel. Uh, in that ferrous material, what we have done is we have mounted that ferrous material, ferrous specimen in UTM, that is Universal Testing Machine, and load is applied gradually, not at the same time. We will increase the load time to time. When I increase the load time to time, the tension in the member will keep on gradually increasing. So it starts elongating gradually. So that phenomenon we can study from the graph. So you can observe here, at the beginning we have started loading. For some loading there is some strain, that means there is some deformation. uh, I further increase the load, there is further some deformation is there, further stretching is there in the member. But in this stage, if I release the load right now, if I release the load, the member will come back to its original position. So this state is called as elastic state. From this curve, uh, up to a load of A, see, you can see a point called A. Up to this point, if you increase the load, the deformation will also increase. If you release the load, the deformation will become zero. This portion, this point A, up to point A, we call this point A as proportional limit. What is the proportional limit called? Stress is proportional to strain, which is Hooke's law. Hooke's law states that stress is directly proportional to strain in elastic state. So elastic state ಅಲ್ಲಿ material ಇರುವಾಗ what will happen is whenever we unload the material, it will come back to its original position. So this state of material is called elastic state. Suppose if I further increase the loading up to B, say up to B, the up to B, and then I will release the load, it will come back to its, again it will come back to its original position because it is in elastic state. But there will be, the curve will not be linear. What do you mean by linear curve? Linear curve means a straight line curve. In the graph you can observe from 0 to A, the line is straight. From A to B, a little curve is there. So, but still up to B, the material is in elastic state. But it is not giving, it is not taking the linear curve. So, linearity limit or proportionality limit is A, elastic limit is B. If I further increase beyond B, if I increase the load beyond B, uh, this material will reach a point called yield point. Yield point in the sense, for a certain load, the material starts deforming. See, I am up, say suppose this pen and cap. Uh, for example, I am doing this. See, I have a pen and cap. I will apply some pulling force. It is not coming off. I apply some more force. It is not coming off. I am applying more force. It is not coming. I increase the load, increase the load, increase the load, increase the load. Then it came off. The moment it start coming out, the load required to for this cap to get removed, that force, the material, when it starts elongating or starts deforming, that point is called as yield point. yield, yield point, that is C. That is C. In this graph, you can see upper yield point C, lower yield point D, but practically these 2 points are very, very small and it is considered coincident. ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ yield point and lower yield point. Because when it reaches the yield point, the force will suddenly reduce. After applying the force required to be opened, some force will reduce. If I increase the load, it just goes like that. Okay, so after the point at which it opens, I will reduce some amount of force. So that some amount of force is D. That some amount of force is D. This is called as yield point. The moment the material starts yielding, andre material starts deforming anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. This will occur only in the case of ductile material. I will explain what is ductile material, what is brittle material in the later slides. Okay. See, in this case, this is a ferrous material, and if I increase the load further, from D, the load will go on increasing. The strain, that is deformation, is also increasing. Load increase ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ strain increase ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So stress is also increasing, and we will reach a point where a material can take maximum load. A material can take maximum load. So that point, the maximum load which can be applied or which can be carried by a member is called as ultimate load point or ultimate strength limit. Ultimate load point. This is point E is ultimate load point. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಲೋಡ್, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲೋಡ್ ನಾವು ಆ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. So that is the maximum load. After reaching the maximum load, if the material is still ductile, the plastic deformation, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, but at this point of time there is some visible difference will be seen after this point. What is that? That point is called as necking. Here you can observe, this first diagram is the original one. After reaching the maximum load point, the formation of neck will be there. So this position we call it as necking. At some portion there will be some reduction in diameter reduction ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Full diameter reduction ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ reduction ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This position we call it as necking. At this neck, if we further increase the load, see, necking will be getting elongated. If I increase the load, that means it is decreasing. Load carrying capacity is decreasing, but strain is increasing, and there will be some point where your member will fail ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, completely ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So that failure, if you observe, that may be a brittle failure or cup and cone failure. that we shall come later. Okay, so what we can understand here is up to elastic limit the curve will be linear and it will reach the yield point. After yield point it will further take the load and it will deform. The strain will also increase, but the curve will not be linear. It will be non-linear deformation. We call it as non-linear deformation. After that, after reaching the yield point, the necking formation will take place. After necking, if we further increase the load, the material will fail. So this is the concept of ferrous material. This is the stress strain curve for ferrous material. Ferrous andre iron material. So this is about stress strain curve. See here. If we further go on to the next topic, there is a concept we can observe here. Before that, observe here. From this curve itself, we can calculate the Young's modulus. Young's modulus is modulus of elasticity. In the previous class, we have studied that Young's modulus is a constant. How it is coming, Young's modulus ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? It comes stress by strain. When we calculate stress divided by strain, we will get Young's modulus, which is a constant. This constant will only be applicable in elastic state. Where? In elastic state. See here, this portion from 0 to A, the curve is linear. Linear andre straight line ಇದೆ. Here if I draw a slope, andre illond small triangle ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ. Vertical line, horizontal line, horizontal line and vertical line. See here like this. See, one vertical line, one horizontal line I will put. If I do like this, what will happen is I have to take the ratio of this vertical dimension, taking the scale. This is stress divided by strain, the x-axis distance. If I take that, I can calculate Young's modulus E, value of E. Okay, na? Value of E I can calculate. Okay, na? Next, with the same principle, we have another set of graphs. We shall understand this concept. Okay, influence of repeated loading and unloading. In the first case, what we had done, we kept on increasing the load, until the material failed. Material ಮುರಿದೋಗೋ ತನಕ increase ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? So here, what is the effect of repeated loading and unloading? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೋಡ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಅನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. I go on, keep on doing this until the material is getting failed. So I will be observing a certain kind of graph here. See, from the original point, I will start loading. The stress keep on increasing, and it will reach the yield point C. After reaching yield point, I will further increase the load and I will remove the load at S. When I remove the load at S, your curve stops at S. Okay. Then now I will start loading again from 0. So when I start loading at 0 again, because it has crossed the elastic limit, the strain value will start from T, not from O, because the material has not come to its original position. Length ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೇ 1 mm ಲೆಂತ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಲೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ 1 mm ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. 0 ಇಂದ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ +1 mm ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. So your second cycle of the experiment will start from T. So it will linearly vary from T, and it will coincide with S, and then it will start deforming this curve, and I will again remove the load when it reaches P. I will remove the load when the total force reaches P. So your curve will stop here. Then again I will start loading from 0. Load is 0, but the strain is 2 mm now. That means at Q, strain is Q. From Q it will start. I keep on adding the load, increasing the load, the strain will increase. Okay, the strain will increase, and it will reach P. So it will reach P, and from P it will further continue. If we keep on doing this cycle again and again, the parameter will be similar. The observation what we can make here is the deformation what has happened is permanent. That is why it is indicated here. You can see that permanent set. So when we apply some load, the deformation, the change in length of the member is permanent beyond elastic limit. Elastic limit ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. It is beyond elastic limit. That means your member is in plastic limit. Elastic limit ಇಂದ ಬಿಟ್ಟು plastic limit ಹೋಯ್ತು. Plastic state ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, strain is not coming back. So there is permanent deformation for the material. So it cannot be undone. So that is what we can observe. And from the graph we can also observe that when we repeatedly start loading again and again in each of the cycles, we can observe that from up to 0 to yield point, or 0 to S point, 0 to P point, that is ST and PQ are straight line, that is linear in nature. A point reach, a load point reach ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ linear ಆಗಿ vary ಆಗಿ, then it will starts non-linear deformation. And also this linear curve, that means this straight line are all parallel to each other. All these linear curve are parallel to each other. We can even calculate the Young's modulus with this linear curve, also with this linear curve. What I mean is, we can calculate the Young's modulus E okay, Young's modulus E here also, here also, here also. In whichever the position you calculate the value E, that is Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity, the value will be same. The elastic modulus E is same. At whichever the force or whichever the strain, the stress and strain is proportional to each other in elastic limit. This is what Hooke's law states. Okay. Then we shall move on to the next concept. Here, previously we have considered ferrous materials, that is iron materials. So in iron materials, so what was happening? It was reaching the yield point, and it will reach the ultimate load point, and then further if we increase the load, it is going to fail, right? So this yield point and ultimate load point is different for different materials. It is different for different materials. See, for example, this curve is drawn for soft brass. When I consider the soft brass, the maximum, the yield point starts at somewhere between 250, and it will go on increasing, and this may be the ultimate load point, the 300 kilonewton per meter square itself is the ultimate load point. For say low carbon steel, the ultimate load point is say around 350. For hard bronze, ultimate load point is around 550. For medium carbon steel, the ultimate load point is around 700. Cold rolled steel, the ultimate load point is around 650. See here. According to this graph, I am just explaining. It may not be the standard value for that metal, but the you can observe here. Medium carbon steel heated or treated, heat treated. Okay, it is showing ultimate load point of 1200 kilonewton per meter square, and nickel is showing ultimate load point of what around 1500 kilonewton per meter square. So the ultimate load carrying capacity of the material changes with the material. So ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ಗೆ ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಗೆ ನಿಕ್ಕಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದಿ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯಿಂಗ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೈ load, but we can also observe that this soft brass has larger strain. ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫೇಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 50% ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಮೆಂಬರ್, it will strain up to 50% extra. This much it will become. It will become from this length to this length it will become. But your nickel, it will just do this much. A small minute deformation will take place and it will fail. What is this criteria then? This concept is called ductility. Ductility means if I keep on stretching, if you imagine a rubber band, I don't have a rubber band handy, okay. If I have a rubber band, when I stretch it, some rubber bands will stretch up to this length. If I have another rubber band, it will stretch up to this length. See, the ductility of the second rubber band is more than the first one. The ductility of the second rubber band is more than the first one. But if I use a chalk piece or this pen, it is not having ductility, but if I increase the load, this will just break. This will just break. If I had the it's okay, but you can understand, right? It can be plastic in nature. Adana we can draw it into thin sheet. We can draw a ductile material into thin sheet, but a brittle material breaks there itself. It will not elongate. Okay. When it reaches this point, it is not showing plastic deformation. This material is showing lot of plastic deformation. That means the ductility of this soft brass is higher than any other material. Even though nickel has the capacity to carry the a very high load, but it doesn't have that much ductility for but it has the strength. Okay, so for different purposes we can use different materials. So this is what the study of tensile test shows for you. Even for compressive stress, we can draw this similar kind of graph. Okay. So we shall move on to the next slide. You can see that we shall see proof stress. What is this proof stress? That we have to see. See, in the beginning itself, I had explained what is normal stress is. Normal stress means the stress or the internal forces is in the direction of the force. ನಾನು ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಈ ಕಡೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. So it is in along this line. ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇದು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಅದು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So it is in straight line. So that is just normal stress. ಅದು one directional. This proof stress is also a normal stress, but the value what we can take for design consideration is called as proof stress. Now we shall understand this concept. Observe this graph carefully. See, proof stress is that stress when the strain is 0.1%. 0.1% ಆದಾಗ stress ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, that stress is proof stress. I'll repeat. When the strain is 0.1%, when the strain under deformation of the member is 0.1%, then the stress at that point, the force at which the material goes for 0.1% strain, 0.1% deformation, that stress is called as proof stress. So ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ನ proof stress ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So then from the graph, how to take the proof stress value is the question. See here, this is the solid line. What you are seeing is the normal curve, the curve taken from tensile test. Okay, stress strain curve. Up to some point you can see a straight line, right? Up to some point you can see the straight line, and then it starts curving. I will further project this straight line to this point. ಇದೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, straight line I will project it. Then I will take 0.1% of the strain. That means I will start from this point. I will keep a scale and draw a straight line which is parallel to this straight line. ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನ್ O ಇಂದ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, I will draw a line from P to N. So I will start drawing the line from P, which is parallel to this curve. I will go on drawing the straight line, and it will reach at a point N. So it will reach at a point N. I will again start drawing the line which is parallel to x-axis. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ x-axis parallel ಆಗಿ ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ I will get a value of stress. Some stress value I will get. That is sigma p. Sigma p value I will get. This sigma p value itself is proof stress. Did you understand what is proof stress is? If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, understood the proof stress? Okay, we shall move further. See, excuse me. See, next concept is allowable working stress. That means factor of safety. You might imagine that. You might ask a question, what is this factor of safety, sir? See, I can hold this mobile phone. The weight of this mobile phone may be around 200 grams. So I can carry all around and I will not get any strain. If I carry a dumbbell in my hand and walk around and go to all the places, what will happen to me? Can I do that? So it is not possible, because the weight of the dumbbell is comparatively very high, and according to my capacity I cannot walk around with the dumbbell in my pocket. Okay, so I can walk with this material, but I cannot walk with a dumbbell. So what I mean to say is, certain material has its own factor of safety. So when I can hold this material all along and carry this without any strain, then this material, the weight of this material is within the factor of safety of my body. Okay, when I take the dumbbell, I cannot carry all around, then it is beyond the factor of safety of my body. But I can carry just say 500 grams dumbbell. You cannot say that I can carry 50 one. For some bodybuilders, the 50 kg might be a very light one. So it depends on the material to material, the person to person, or the material to material. It depends. Okay. So what I mean to say is, what is that weight I can, what is the maximum weight I can carry around without causing any strain to my body? That value of weight, or the in this condition the force or the stress which I can apply to the member, but it does not cause any damage to the member, that force, that stress, we call it as safety stress. That is factor of safety. Yes, a safety factor will be there. That factor is called a safety factor. We should further understand with an equation here. You can see that factor of safety is equal to yield stress divided by allowable working stress. See, this allowable working stress means the stress which is caused by this material. Whether this stress is within the limit or not within the limit, that we have to calculate. See, I will say according to some test, the uh, stress of this material may be around 100, for example. Allowable working stress is, that means the stress I am causing on this material, just hold it. I'm not throwing, I'm not bending, just allowable working stress. But when someone presses it or it falls down, it has some resistance, right? So up to some extent it can take. So that is working stress. So ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮಚ್ ಅಲೋವಬಲ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆನ್ ಎ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ. If you are getting confused, you can stop me and ask. Okay, I'm trying to explain. Okay, observe here. Working stress is that stress which is within the factor of safety. That means the stress at which, the point at which the material loses its factor of safety. ನಾ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ತನಕ ಫುಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈಲ್ಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್, ದಟ್ ದೆನ್ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಟ್. ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಟ್. ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅನ್ಲೋಡ್ ದಿ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಅನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ what we can do is we can take this proof stress. Proof stress divided by working stress will give you the factor of safety. Or factor of safety, some standard value is there. According to that, see here. Okay. Factor FOS under factor of safety for steel. What is the factor of safety for steel? It is 1.85. So say yield stress or ultimate load stress also can be taken. In some cases ultimate stress will be taken, in some cases yield stress will be taken. It mainly depends on the condition of the material. See here, I will also explain that also. See here, this is the yield point. So at the yield point, I am not getting any much difference between yield point and upper this ultimate load. But here yield point is here, the ultimate load is here. It is having lot of difference. So I shall take only yield point. So here ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ yield ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, yield ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್. ಓಕೆನಾ? So the factor of safety for steel is 1.85. So maximum that maximum capacity, the maximum stress is proof stress or yield stress. Proof stress ಈಗ ತಾನೇ explain ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Proof stress is that stress which can cause only 0.1% of the strain. Strain 0.1% ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದು proof stress. ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೋಬೋದು. ಓಕೆನಾ? So proof stress divided by allowable working stress will give you the factor of safety of the material. See, for steel 1.85 is there. For concrete it is 3. Factor of safety is 3. For timber the factor of safety is 4. Factor of safety is 4. Also the ratio of ultimate stress to working stress ಅಂತನೂ define ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. What factor of safety. So this is the factor of safety. The factor of safety ಅಂದ್ರೆ you understood no? The load, it is just a ratio, the stress at which the material is in working condition. ಆ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಸೇ continuously I can work up to 5 hours, then I will get strain. Or someone's capacity is just 1 hour, then you will get strain. Some of your capacity is to work for 5 minutes, then you will get strain. So it depends on the material to material, and it depends on the person to person, like that. Okay. So this is about the factor of safety. Then I had told you that I would explain the ductile material and brittle material later. So now it is time to understand what is ductile material is. Ductile material I have already explained. The rubber band example what I have given is the material, if the rubber band is stretchable up to this much length, then the ductility of that material is higher. Then if it is just this much, the ductility is less. If it cannot be stretched, but if I stretch it, it will break, then that material is brittle in nature. So how to calculate the values? So there is percentage elongation. See, just say this is 30 centimeter. After elongation, say it will become 35 centimeter. What is the percentage of elongation? 5 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟು? 30%ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5% ಎಷ್ಟು? 5 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು? 30 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟಿಂಗ್. So percentage elongation is the increase in gauge length, that means length to fracture divided by original gauge length. So 35 divided by 30 into 100 will give you the percentage elongation. That's it. Then percentage reduction in area is equal to cross sectional area of neck portion and original portion. Neck portion ಹೋಗೋಣ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. In this second diagram you can see here it is the neck portion. See here, this is the neck portion and this is the original diameter. This is the original diameter and this is the neck portion. So cross sectional dimension ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? That is your here this distance, distance ಏನಿದೆ, this is the diameter of the neck portion, and this much ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. So this much is the what original. This dimension divided by this dimension will give you the percentage here. Okay. I'm going back to that slide. Okay, this one. Cross-sectional area of neck portion divided by original area into 100 will give you percentage reduction in area. So this is the calculation what we have to make for ductile material. Ductility to calculate the ductility of a material. Ductility of a material ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನೀವು? Percentage elongation and percentage reduction in area what we have to calculate. So this is about ductile material. Again, the brittle material, if I have to explain it with an stress strain curve, see, after some time there will be no plastic deformation. It will fail there itself. It will the brittle material will fail at ultimate load point or some yield point. Yield point ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ it may take some load or it may not take some load. It will break. After elastic limit, there is no plastic limit in the brittle material like a chalk piece. It will just break. Or even iron is will become brittle when it get rusted. Okay. So this is about a brittle material. It will fail very early without taking any plastic deformation. Plastic deformation ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಕರು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್. ಅದು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಲೋಡ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So this is one more very important concept what you need to learn is called as Poisson's ratio. What this Poisson's ratio means, you should just understand like this. Whenever I apply a tensile force, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉದ್ದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇದನ್ನ elongate ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, then the length of this member will increase. Meanwhile, simultaneously, its diameter is also reducing. Length of the member is increasing and its diameter is decreasing. Length is increasing and diameter is decreasing. Until now, when we spoke about strain, we considered only along the length, but we had not considered along the cross section. So the length ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ cross section ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾನೂ ಇದೆ. So that strain in the direction of the cross section, we call that strain as lateral strain. The strain in the direction of the force, is longitudinal strain. In the direction of the force, it is longitudinal strain. Along the cross section, when this cross section reduces to this is lateral. See, along the length, it is longitudinal strain. Along the cross section, it is lateral strain. So the longitudinal strain can be calculated as change in length by virginal length. See, change in length by virginal length is the strain for longitudinal strain. Andre, if I compress, virginal length was 10 centimeter. When I compress, it become 8 centimeter. So that difference in strain, that 2 centimeter divided by 10 centimeter. ಅಥವಾ if I elongate, it will become 12 centimeter. So 12 centimeter ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು 10 ಇಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, 2 divided by again 10 centimeter. That will give you the strain, that is longitudinal strain. If the diameter of the say the diameter of this pen is originally it is 10 centimeter, when I have pulled, the diameter become 8 centimeter. Though what is the change? 2 centimeter. So 2 centimeter change. So 2 centimeter divided by total 5 centimeter or 10 centimeter. 2 by 10 will give you the lateral strain. Andre ಈ direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು change ಆಯಿತು. In this diagram you can see in y direction also the dimension is reducing, in x direction also the dimension is reducing, but according to this principle, Poisson's ratio principle, the x and y direction, that is lateral strain, are equal in all directions. ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರ ಇಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗೇ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್, ದಿ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಬ್ರೆಡ್ತ್, change in breadth also is equal to change in depth. Change in breadth is also equal to change in depth. So that from that we can calculate delta B by B or delta D by D, both are equal. So from this, it has been observed that within elastic range, the ratio of the lateral and longitudinal strain, lateral andre across the cross section, longitudinal across the length. So both strain, epsilon lateral dimension, lateral strain and longitudinal strain. So ratio between lateral and longitudinal strain will always be constant, which is termed as Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio is equal to lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain. This is the exact formula. Now, V is equal to latitudinal strain by longitudinal strain. So this is about Poisson's ratio. We can further substitute this like this lateral strain ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ lateral strain ಅಂತ we can calculate. So ಅದನ್ನ ಫರ್ದರ್ V into longitudinal strain sigma by E is equal to sigma by epsilon ಅಂದ್ರೆ stress by strain ಏನು Young's modulus. So strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus. So ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So this is just conversion of equations ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Actually the Poisson's ratio ಏನಿದೆ ಇದು, so this equation is what the Poisson's ratio state. It is the ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. So with this concept we shall end today's session. So I believe you have understood the concept. If you have any questions, you can ask. Meanwhile, I am writing down your attendance. Any doubts? If you are even listening to my lecture, you can respond in the chat section. Okay. ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ಲಿಖಿತ್.